the second consecutive season, Astros center fielder Michael Bourn has been named one of the 9 National League Rawlings Gold Glove Award winners. Michael is the first Astros player to win a Gold Glove in back-to-back years since catcher Brad Ausmus did it. Bourn also led the NL in stolen bases for the second consecutive season last year with 52. We head down to the field now to present Michael with his 2011 Rawlings Gold Glove Award. Congratulations, Michael Bourn.
I think no matter where we are in life, I think we follow leaders. I don't think we follow necessarily rules. I don't know that we follow a predetermined set of this or that, but we follow people. We follow leaders. Michael has become a centerpiece for what we want our kids to be able to strive for. Michael is one of those young men that is committed to his community. He's committed to our school. He hasn't forgotten where he came from, and that's kind of a cliche-ish phrase to throw in there, but it's the honest truth.
Hi, I'm Michael Bourn of Nimitz High School, University of Houston, and the Houston Astros, and this is my story. You don't want to film this.
He was born in Houston, raised in Houston, and has returned home to Houston. All-star leadoff man for the Astros patrols center field at Minute Maid Park like no one has. Has 2 Gold Gloves to prove it, and along with his speed, his attitude, and his infectious smile, has made Michael Bourn a fan favorite.
Safe at first and a tying run scores.
But long before Michael was born is where his story actually begins. Michael had an older brother, Ray, who he never had the chance to meet.
He drowned at the age of 5, but I wasn't born yet at the time. I could tell it hurt my mother and father as I got older because every time I would want to go to the pool, it was always a problem. I could never go by myself.
He was in a drowning accident. He was 5 years of age, and he was supposed to have been in a swimming class. And they got mixed up. He was actually beginning classes, getting ready to learn how to swim. And they put him in a class where it was advanced swimmers. And, you know, he drowned.
We don't really talk about it, like, and go into deep discussion. You know, it's just a hole that, you know, that's been, I think, been filled by somebody else.
It was a sad day in our lives. It was our first kid. So when Michael came along and Daniel came along, that was a true blessing.
I think it made him appreciate children more, probably. By that happening, you know, it made him realize how precious life could be. For somebody to have to go through that, I think that once he was able to, you know, my mom was able to have me, then he took it to another level and wanted to try to give me the best that I can have, even though I gave him a hard time and I made it tough on him, but, you know, so far it's been so good. I started playing baseball when I was 5 years old. My daddy took me out there, you know, started me in T-ball, and from there, it just grew on me. He never forced me to really do it. It was just the fun and nature and the competitive nature of it that kept me going.
I kind of realized at an early age that he was an athletic kid. You know, I was one day watching TV and I had a baseball, because baseball is one of my passions. And I rolled the ball, and I think Mike was like 10 months old, he was crawling. And he grabbed the ball and he brought it back to me. And then I rolled it again, he did that. I said, well, okay, it's on now.
Ray Bourn had been coaching other people's kids since the tragic death of his son, Ray Jr. And now Michael was showing ability of his own, and at the age of 5, it was his turn.
The problem I had, I didn't know his limitations. I mean, you know, I'm hitting the ball probably twice as hard as I should be hitting to him, and he's still stopping everything. He's still catching everything.
By the time Michael had reached the age of 8, his dad and coach knew he was special, but Ray Bourn was competitive and wanted to win. On a scouting trip across town, he spotted a diamond in the rough, and his name was Carl Crawford.
The first time he found him, he came home and he told me we had a kid from the Salvation Army on our team. He told me, and I was like, the Salvation Army? And I was like, oh, Dad, they team not good at all. After that year was over with, he went and picked him up. When he came, man, he came. He came full-fledged, and he just kept blossoming as a player.
Going over there, they was a little more organized. You know, they had a whole league of players. You know, they had nice uniforms. It just seemed like it was more kids. It seemed like it was just more of a fun thing than where I was at. At the age of 9 years old, you just knew instantly that you'll like it. It had that good bubbly feel to it.
He was a pretty aggressive kid at first. And I was trying to tell him, you know, you don't have to be that aggressive. I was trying to teach him those values as well as baseball.
Coach Bourn spent the next 4 years bringing Carl into his home, teaching him not just about baseball, but about family and about life.
I saw this young man, and he kind of reminded me when I was young. And I wanted him to see a better side of life that he could have if he really worked. I did everything I could to try to drive him that way towards baseball.
Coach Bourn was like the perfect man. I mean, he was like married, and kids, the house, the nice yard. He had, you know, he had the stuff that we saw that to me, I only saw that on TV. So, you know, just to see that example was just something. It gave me something to strive for.
I know my dad lost a son when he was younger, and it's like he felt the road of it. I kind of think about that and like, man, that's not a coincidence, you know. That's the man up above work.
I can tell you, I never wanted to go home. I always wanted to spend the night at his house all the time. Just wanted to stay there just because it was so nice, you know. I was like in heaven. So.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. I'll tell you the story. He came over there, he's like, man, y'all got grass, y'all got your own room. And you know what? It was. You don't realize it until you get a little bit older. You just take it for granted. You know, my daddy going over there to pick him up. Like you get another brother coming into the house. I had a little brother, but I didn't have my older brother. I didn't have an older brother at the time, coming into the house like that. And he fit the role of it.
So I got traded. He said, guess where?
I was like, Daddy, guess who I got traded to?
I said, where?
Yeah. He's like, I'm too nervous to guess. Who is it, Mike?
Michael Bourn and Carl Crawford never faced each other in high school, but remained best of friends and continued their high school baseball careers on slightly separate tracks. Carl attended Jefferson Davis High School, while Michael Bourn became a star at Aldine Nimitz.
Great student athlete. It was the best of all the worlds. Michael was one of those guys that kind of flew under the radar. He was one of those guys that just was always in class, and the teachers always talked good about him. He never in any trouble. Just an absolute joy. That smile that he has now is a smile that he had then. So when I think back of Michael, it was just that complete love of knowing that he was who he was going to be every day, that he was always genuine.
Didn't have to coach him very much. Just let him go out and play. And he always was electrifying. When you get on base, you knew that he was going to, in a few pitches, he'd probably be standing on third. He still has the record for stolen bases.
A lot of people didn't know I played baseball a lot. I mean, they knew I played, but not like I played basketball. I played point guard for 2 years on varsity my junior and senior year. Everybody thought that's what I was going to college for. I know basketball, I was 5'10". There's a lot of 5'10" point guards out there that can dribble and, shoot a little bit. Weighed my options pretty good and seen that, I better try to stick with this baseball thing.
Meanwhile, as Michael flourished as a multi-sport athlete, Carl Crawford was focused solely on baseball and was blazing the trail just 1 year ahead of Michael. In 1999, Carl was drafted by Tampa Bay, and just 1 year later, Michael was drafted by the Houston Astros.
I got drafted out of high school by the Astros, so I didn't know if I should go to junior college. As far as I was concerned, I didn't know what to do. I had to ask around. I still don't really know what made me choose to go to the University of Houston. I just said, you know what, I think that's the route I need to go. I ain't gonna say I didn't feel like I was polished enough to go to junior college and then going straight into pro ball, but I don't know. I just hadn't played a lot of baseball at the time.
I was just happy to see him keep getting better and kind of adjusting to everything, because it's always nice to be doing something like this and you can have somebody that you know, that you can talk to and kind of relate to everything about it and go through the whole process with you.
In June of 2003, after 3 successful seasons at the University of Houston, Michael caught the attention of professional scouts and was once again drafted, this time in the 4th round with the 115th overall pick by the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh man, draft day was a bad day. I thought I was gonna get drafted higher than what I was. I didn't. Oh man, I didn't like that at all.
Michael was a little disappointed. He felt he should have won a little higher, but I told him, hey, you're in there. And make the best of it from here, no matter where you're at, you know. If you got talent, they'll see it.
And the Phillies did see it. Michael worked his way through the Phillies minor league system. He played for Team USA, where his 2 home runs were instrumental in winning gold against Cuba, and eventually made his major league debut on July 30th, 2006.
My manager came and told me I left all my clothes in the, I was staying in a hotel. I left them all there, didn't check out the hotel, went straight to Philadelphia. I called mama, daddy, brother. I called Carl when I got called up. I called all my homeboys from around the area. But I knew I wasn't gonna be up there long. My manager actually told me I was gonna be coming right back down. But I was, you know, it was a great experience for me. That's an experience that every player that's played baseball probably will never forget.
Michael got sent back the following day, but after a good spring, earned a big league roster spot in 2007. He finished the season 3rd among National League rookies in stolen bases, and on November 7th was traded to the Houston Astros.
I was at one of my friend's house, sitting down, playing a video game, and I seen a number pop up from Pennsylvania. He's like, hey, how you doing? Ruben Amaro Jr. I'm here with the Phillies, and we just wanted to let you know you just got traded. That's exactly how I reacted. I was just like shocked.
He called. He said, Dad, guess what? I said, what? He said, I got traded. He said, guess where? And I'm a little emotional at that time. I'm very pumped up.
I was like, Daddy, guess who I got traded to?
I said, where?
Yeah. He's like, I'm too nervous to guess. Who is it, Mike? You know, he couldn't hold it in though, boy. And it was just funny to me. I busted out laughing before I even told him, man.
And he said, the Astros picked me up. I said, Mike, don't kid me. He said, no, I'm serious. I said, are you serious?
I thought Michael was kidding with me. You know, because sometimes he'll call me and he'll say something, but I actually thought he was kidding with me. I said, boy, stop kidding with me. I got too much on my mind.
I won't forget that because it was funny to me. It was hilarious.
When I got here, sort of task one was it became apparent that a change of scenery was probably necessary for Brad Lidge, and it was apparent that the 2 clubs that had the most interest were Cleveland and Philadelphia. It seemed the deal that made the most sense for us because it was bringing a guy like Michael to our ball club, somebody who could be a catalyst at the top of the order and also be a great defensive player. So that was really why we leaned towards Philadelphia in making that deal.
When I got there, it started to hit me. You know, you start seeing the caliber of players that you're around.
I messed with his daddy. I was like, how does it feel to beat and coach 2 All-Stars?
I think it brought tears to my eyes because I checked the lineup and Mike was playing center field. Carl would be playing, he's playing left field.
Michael Bourn had come full circle. The kid from Nimitz High School and former Houston Cougar had returned home and was now playing for his hometown team.
I'm not going to say I was an Astros fan. I'll say that I was more of a baseball fan. I really didn't watch a lot of Major League Baseball. Now, I did go to a few Astros games. Though I knew some of the players that they had, Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott. I knew about Bagwell and Biggio as I got older, Kevin Bass, Billy Hatcher. And I just watched baseball. I didn't watch a lot on TV. I played it a lot. And I just liked the way it was played, and it was fun to me.
I used to buy little seats where I can sit out and don't have to worry about them getting hit by the ball in right field. And I think Kevin Bass was playing right field at the time.
I remember one time I was yelling Kevin Bass' name, and he wouldn't turn around.
I said, Mike, he cannot hear you. He said, he heard me. Kevin, and he kept trying to get his attention. He never did.
He wouldn't turn around for nothing. I was like, man, I couldn't get his attention. But now I know, I'm in the outfield and somebody yelling my name and I'm trying to concentrate on something, I'm probably not going to turn around.
I was hoping one day that I could meet Kevin and get an autograph from Michael, because I don't know how many times he called out his name to try to get his attention. Oh, that's Kevin. That's Kevin, yeah. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, how you?
Ray Bourn.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing? What's up, kid?
I'm doing all right, man.
Good.
I used to bring him to games. He was around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And we used to sit out there in the right field. Every game he would holler, Kevin Bassett, Mike, he can't hear you.
And I wouldn't turn around.
And he kept trying.
So now you know why.
Yeah,
I know now. I know now.
That night after meeting Kevin Bass, Michael went 3 for 4 and had a pair of stolen bases. But it wasn't always that easy, especially when Michael first arrived in Houston. It was a veteran team, something Michael wasn't used to, and he struggled, especially at the plate.
When Michael first got to the big leagues, I thought that he tried to be sort of that prototypical leadoff hitter, the guy that was going to work counts, and I think early in his career he got exploited a little bit as a result of that. There were a lot of guys that challenged him through that first pitch, strike one, strike two, and now you're in an 0-2 hole, trying to hit from an 0-2 hole. No matter how good a hitter you are, it's going to be very difficult.
I didn't really panic. I just went out there and I said I felt like I could play. I felt like I was trying to do too much, and by doing too much, I was doing less. And so what I did was I just told myself to relax. I started off hitting 8th that year, and from the jump, I was able to just settle in and try to take the ball the other way better, and I was able to do it no matter what they was pitching to me. And eventually, as the season went on, I moved up to second, moved up to first, and I took off from there.
I think the fact that he got more aggressive made them pitch to him differently at that point in time. So his strikeouts should go down, his walk should go up, and if you're going to walk Michael Bourn, you're basically walking a guy right into a double.
Michael has come into his own and has become the superstar his family always knew he would be. Along with that pair of gold gloves, one that sits proudly in his parents' home, and his latest that he kept for himself, his accolades also include the Cool Papa Bell Award, Team MVP, 2 National League Stolen Base Championships, and perhaps one of the most special, Michael was named to the 2010 All-Star team, and who was there to greet him? But Carl Crawford.
When I got there, it started to hit me. You start seeing the caliber of players that you're around, and when all the festivities and everything is going on, and you start thinking like, man, this is a good thing to be a part of.
I messed with his daddy. I was like, how does it feel to be the coach 2 All-Stars? He coached us both when he was young, and you can't really put words into how we feel about where we came from to get to this point, have him being successful, I'm doing my thing, and we both feel like there's more to come. So we want to keep the story alive and kind of just keep adding on to it. So hopefully we can do that.
I think it brought tears to my eyes because I got to the game early and I checked the lineup, and Mike was playing center field. And obviously I figured Carl would be playing, he's playing left field. And I said to myself, this is what it's all about. All the work, all the hard work that was put in, this moment right here, it's worth it all.
A typical day off the field for Michael consists of a morning workout with, of course, Carl Crawford, a visit to his alma mater, Nimitz, a few games of billiards with Dad, and then hanging with his pride and joy, his son Bryson. We tagged along with Michael on this day, starting at the Houston Christian Academy.
Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I know how that feels. I ain't gonna do that to you. I wake up, get your little breakfast in, eat, make the drive over here, shoot around a little bit, get me a little sweat going, play a little game of knockout or whatnot. Get me sweat going, do my running mechanically with Lynn. After that, I come in here and I lift weights pretty heavy. Today I had legs day. Just try to get my legs prepared for the upcoming season. It's 162 games, so you just try to have the strength in your legs throughout the whole season. 2 days of core, 1 day of legs this week. That's what you told me. Yeah. 2 legs today. 2 legs today?
It is unique to take a guy that has such great skill and athleticism and actually see him put it to use. He does have intent, and I'm sure he aspires to be the best center fielder in Major League Baseball, that he comes in with a purpose.
first heard about it from Carl. And you know, one thing about him is that I do respect about him, his work ethic too. You know, he's always had a good work ethic, and I have too. We are competitive. We both know it. You know it. You know it. We know it. You can feel it. You can sense it. But that's just, you know, when you're competitors, that's just what it is. You know, you respect one another, but you just compete.
You don't want to film this?
What's going on, man?
Man.
You doing all right? You play baseball too?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know, inner city schools, you know, we're not in a privileged white community. We're not afraid to use any piece of information or look at the results of an individual's life to try to use that. And Michael is one of those classic examples. He gives us a frame of reference where you don't have to be in a hip-hop commercial in order to be successful. It matters because at the end of the day, we all need something to believe in. Michael gives us that.
As much as I want it to happen, I know it won't.
Why not?
Man, because ain't nobody gonna come over here and scout us.
Why not?
Man, there's limits.
How many people think came over here and scouted me?
A lot, cause man, you cold.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
none?
Nope. Two scouts.
Two.
How you doing?
I'm great.
You taking care of these fields out here?
So successful for them.
Thank you.
Makes a big difference.
Thank you, appreciate
Because
it.
they've got somebody they can look up to.
All right. We're not gonna do no speaking or anything, but I'll let y'all see how our high school do it.
And that is Michael Bourn. Let's give Michael Bourn a graduate from High School.
I remember the first time I was like 5 years old. Some of the people used to get on him because he used to coach us kind of hard. And I went back and looked at a tape from about, I'd say 5 years ago, and I looked at one. He was yelling at me, and this is his exact words. Turn it, don't play, Mike. I was 5 years old, man. Barely knew what a double play was, combination.
There you go. Make the shot. There you go. Go to work on it.
Bryson even started earlier than I started Michael. He's got him hitting off a tee now. He's only like a year and a half. I think Mike get a little aggravated when Bryson basically, he's tired of baseball. He just go play with his other toys. He's a great dad. He's taking places. I spend time with him. I really like that.
I want him to think how I think about Pops. I know even if we get into it, which probably we will, since I did it with my daddy, I would just say that we probably will, but I just want him to say, I know he was there for me. I know he had to work sometimes, but I know that he'll try to do anything he could for me.
I say I love Bryson more than anybody, but of course I know that he does, you know, so he's gonna be good.
And as Michael finishes up his day and ultimately someday his career, he will continue to be an inspiration not only to his son, his family, his friends, and his teammates, but also to the city of Houston.
I want to look back on it, I want to say I gave it all I got. I don't want to look back and say, man, I should have did that, or I regret doing that. That's one thing I just don't want to do. And hopefully if I'm doing like that, I can put that into my son and tell him, hey, you don't want to do that. You don't want to look back and say that.
My dreams for Michael and my dreams for both of my boys. I just hope that they know that they were reared up in a church, and I just hope they realize that they can always go to God, depend on God. That's all, just depend on God.
Altafield, I'm hoping he go back and get his degree, be a good parent to Bryson, be a community leader, and I hope he would put on a camp or two for underprivileged kids to give them opportunity to be introduced to baseball. And I'll gladly be participating in that. Maybe him and Carl can do that.
And it's only fitting it should end with Carl Crawford. But what would the actual perfect ending be?
Sitting back and look at it is after everything is said and done. You know, everything is not said and done right now. So, you know, we both just playing in our careers and just trying to see where we can go from here.
Both of us being on the same team again, what I say is, you know, winning the World Series together like we did when we was young. I know it's a long shot, but you know, if you was to want to have a perfect ending, you know, I have to say that's the perfect way to end.
Us playing against each other in the World Series, that'd be the ultimate way to finish it out. No other way than that.
Hey, Michael! I'm here! Hey, Newman's High School! Hey, Michael Bourn! Hey, Michael Bourn is coming back! Well, there you go. He got me back.